Music's in my heart, I can't deny. I wake up.
Good morning. What a shot from Nelson, I should say. This is live this morning. A high of 13 degrees today, fine with morning frost and some light winds. It's taking 23 minutes from Mapua to Nelson City and 7 minutes from Richmond. Traffic updates thanks to our partner Battery Zone, your local battery expert. You wouldn't want to be getting in your car on a day like that, would you?
No.
Gorgeous.
Absolutely. Right, let's go now to our panel of the day, 26 minutes after 8 o'clock. Sparks Consulting Director Sarah Sparks is with us and Newshub presenter Mitch McCann. Good morning.
Morning, team.
Morena.
Good to see you guys. We'll start with Hayden Wilde this morning. We had him on the show earlier. What an incredible representative for New Zealand, first of all. You know, his attitude, the sportsmanship he showed at the weekend was incredible. But question for you, would you have done the same thing he did? So he basically stayed in the race, took the penalty and stayed in the race because he wanted to make sure that New Zealand would get a medal, albeit a silver one, as opposed to taking a chance, finishing that race without the penalty and maybe getting gold for himself, but also jeopardising getting a medal at all. Do you think he made the right call? What would you have done in that situation? It's very hard to say.
Oh, it's easy to say. He totally made the right call, as hard as it was, and I tell you why. Because queer always remind me that if you are kaupapa driven as opposed to personality driven, it's the right decision. So he took it for the team. And he was very, very noble. I was listening to his interview this morning, and in my mind, he's a true champion. He's demonstrated all those values.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, you're right. He did do the right thing.
I'm feeling quite bad because I was thinking, oh, maybe I would go for gold.
I think, well, I mean, who knows? And you know, I guess that's why I'm not a sporting athlete, because I'm morally bankrupt. But I might have just ran and tried to get the gold. Mitch, what have you done?
It's a tough one, right? Because you want the medal for your country, but then he perhaps didn't know whether he was going to be disqualified or not, so he just had to take the medal. But oh man, I mean, the good thing about the Commonwealth Games was we become instant experts in all these sports we know absolutely nothing about.
Exactly.
But I think, you know, New Zealanders are more proud of him for how he behaved and what he did than if he did actually win the gold medal. I mean, that guy is a champion, the way he carried on. Such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what are we up to now? I think we've got 10 gold medals, and here we are talking about Hayden Wilde and his sportsmanship and his silver medal.
Yeah.
Would be nice to be 11 though, wouldn't it?
Well, it still could be.
It still could. You're quite right. Yeah.
That's right. I think the other good thing about the Games is it's such an emerging place for so many people to make their name. Like Lewis Clearbert last time when he won our bronze medal, that's when we first heard of Lewis Clearbert. So there's a lot of people that are starting to win gold medals that, you know, we're starting to find out about now, and hopefully they go on to win gold in Paris in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Speaking about New Zealanders overseas, and not even New Zealanders, but other people who have spent time in New Zealand and have left, they're getting the cost of living payment. So as a little email shows up in the inbox and says, yeah, you were here 10 years ago on that temporary work visa, we're going to give you $350.
Yeah.
Mitch, do you think that's fair?
I mean, it's not ideal, but I struggle to get outraged by this one. I think, you know, it's probably less, I think I read this morning, less than 100 people. It's a $100 payment initially. Someone in IRD's made a bit of a cock up. I don't think it's the biggest problem going around at the moment. I think people are like, oh, it's only $100, it's only a group of people. You don't have to accept it, you know. It's not a big one.
I agree. You know, and I think we need to give some grace and space to the government. You know, and if you think logically about the cost, we're always conscious of the cost of extra services that the government uses to get the systems right. This was made in the spirit of manaakitanga, and you don't have to accept it. So instead of berating the government for this, I think that we need to also focus on making masks and RATs tests freely available to those that have issues with accessibility. That's where I'd like to see more resourcing.
I guess the issue is that costs money, and when you're giving money, and to be, you know, they're not all going to give it back. When you're giving money to people who aren't in New Zealand and struggling with the cost of living New Zealanders are
They'll be at the
right
pub.
now.
The London pubs will be filled with Kiwis spending their cost of living payment. You can bet your bottom dollar.
And we don't, we don't know how many people there are, because IRD is saying it's people who have gone overseas and haven't told IRD that they've moved overseas. I would think that that's quite a high proportion of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. When I was reading that this morning, I saw that the minister said that it's probably 100, but they didn't actually know. So on the other side of things, it could be a bit of a disaster if it was, say, 1,000 people and they don't know that. It's a heap of money. I just feel sorry for some bureaucrat that's pressed the wrong button or sent it to emails that it shouldn't have gone to.
Yeah.
Never feel sorry for bureaucrats. They're okay. They're going to be okay. Mitch, thank you so much for that. Sparks Consulting Director Sarah Sparks with us this morning, and News Hub presenter Mitch McCann. Right now it is time for news.